Oh, I'm lost for words. हैबिट छूट गई ना, सुना आप ही करो.
Good evening, happy Friday. Welcome to the Friday Study Circle. So, here we discuss the whatever we have read or resonated with, or anything that we would like to share from any master or mystic, but we mainly focus on the words of Mother and Sri Aurobindo. So, it's just three of us today, so I think we can have an intense discussion. So, Badarji, would you like to go first?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
So I was reading the diffuse the lower movements. The sentence starts with by aspiration, the rejection of the lower movements. By aspiration,
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Give me one second. I don't know what. By aspiration.
the rejection of the lower movements.
Yeah,
Yes, the same one.
yeah.
Yes.
Here we go.
Should I read it out?
Yes, please.
Sweet mother, how can we empty the consciousness of its mixed contents? By aspiration, the rejection of the lower movements, a call to higher force. If you do not accept certain movements, then naturally, when they find that they cannot manifest, gradually they diminish in force and stop occurring. If you refuse to express everything that is of a lower kind, little by little, the very thing disappears and the consciousness is emptied of lower things. It is by refusing to give expression, I mean, not only in action, but also in thought, in feeling. When impulses, thoughts, emotions come, if you refuse to express them, if you push them aside and remain in a state of inner aspiration and calm, then gradually they lose their force and stop coming. So the consciousness is emptied of its lower movements. But for instance, when undesirable thoughts come, if you look at them, observe them, if you take pleasure in following them in their movements, they will never stop coming. It is the same thing when you have undesirable feelings or sensations. If you pay attention to them, concentrate on them, or even look at them with a certain indulgence, they will never stop. But if you absolutely refuse to receive and express them, after some time they stop. You must be patient and very persistent. In a great aspiration, if you can put yourself into contact with something higher, some influence or your psychic being or some light from above, and if you can manage to put this in touch with these lower movements, naturally they stop more quickly. But before even being able to draw these things by aspiration, you can already stop these movements from finding expression in you by very persistent and patient refusal. When thoughts which you do not like come, if you just brush them away and do not pay them any attention at all, after some time they won't come any longer. But you must do this very persistently and regularly. This actually it's very easy to read and to some extent understand. But you know that Ramakrishna Paramahamsa used to say that organ, gan, and diggan. And big N is the final stage where you have realized, means you have done that experiment and you have got the result. That is the big N. So in this is actually GAN stage. I read and understood, but practically I am finding it's very difficulty. Find difficulty to brush them away actually. These lower movements. So, and here they have given that quick method also. If there is, the grace from the top or something and all, then it can be done very quickly. Otherwise, it's a long drawn process. We have to have the patience and have to continue. Any other method do you think that which will help to be there persistently in the thought?
This refusal of lower movements, I feel as you are sharing that theory, I understand, but in practice, when they come, they are so juicy and attractive. And I feel, again, coming through my personal experience, that if they still hold some promise for me, I will not be able to refuse them. If they still appear that, yes, they will give me, happiness and not make me miserable. If still you think, if you buy into their promise, because these thoughts, the lower movements, they mostly come with a promise that, come follow me, I will give you happiness, right? I will make you complete. You are incomplete, I will make. But if you have not done that enough, then you will not be able to say no to them. That's my understanding, that we will not be able to refuse them. So if you have had the brunt of suffering that they bring, and now you are ready that I have had enough, and I know that they're still there, but I am ready to ignore them. I know that they are still there, as mother says, that they'll keep on coming, but you don't engage with them. So it's not that they will disappear. How can a mirage disappear? A thing which is actually, not there, how can it disappear? So they will there, but I will stop buying into their promise, because I have suffered enough. Only then I feel that we are ready to refuse the lower movements. So that's why suffering, the need for suffering at the present stage of human evolution, I feel it's very necessary. Because the way we are, if not for suffering, we would not care to wake up. If life is okay, no, I'm not suffering, my desires are not making me suffer, so why would I care? Why would I not follow my desire? But if my desires now have made me miserable enough, I have followed the path of desires enough, gotten into the promises of what my stories in the head promise me again and again, I fall for it, into the trap. Again, a little bit of happiness and more misery. If I have not had that taste, then I will not be able to refuse it. That's what I feel. And if I have tasted it enough misery I've tasted, then I'll be even able to that, call it from above, the grace, that please protect me. These monsters are still around, please protect me. Only then aspiration can arise. So I feel, again, just a feeling that the way I am right now, suffering is important. Only then I feel ready to refuse that. Yes, now I know that that's not the right path. Yeah.
Thank you, Monica.
Thank you.
Yeah, Monica, I have something to share. Yeah. See, you rightly said, we attract to our, negative thoughts somehow. We don't know how it enters, but, after some time, when it starts, when we start tormenting, then we'll know, oh, this is not needed. Why am I thinking this way? But, see, without, as you say, without getting involved in that negative thoughts, we are not able to see what we are, what we want. But I think I should not think any negative. Every day morning when we wake up, we'll all pray, we'll all surrender to the mother, and we'll think, today I will not think any bad thing about me or about others. See, about others is okay. We are able to follow. But we are, no. Why should I think? Whatever I see in others, I also have. So I don't need to think bad. But for about myself, I'm not able to be like that. It is very difficult. Something or the other comes and we don't know how it enters. And it gives nice torture. Sweetly it enters and it nicely tortures. And after, maybe 5 minutes, then I will immediately think, oh, Monica said, you watch your breath. If anything comes, watch your breath. Then I will realize I was not breathing at all. I'll be in the thoughts. See,
Yeah,
suppose
beautiful. Yeah.
last week I shared this experience with Tharu also, with others. We were coming by flight, and flight was turbulating. It was going up and down, going up and down. I was thinking, mother, why am I worried? Whatever is going to happen will happen. So let me call you, mother, mama, for 1 second only. Afterwards, immediately it goes back. Jijo, enna ago? I was thinking about my husband. Ayo, Pao, he's there. If something happens to me, what he will do? See, how much ever I tried stopping it, so many times it was coming. Finally, I said, no. See, there is no point in attending all the sessions, whatever Tharu and Monica are conducting, and praying the mother, every day surrendering. Now, no use at all for me. I should not think this way. I will think only positive way. This flight will reach Bangalore on the right time. I will get down, I'll go home. All these things, but it took maybe half an hour. The flight was 40 minutes. Half an hour I was tormenting. Then I was smiling at myself. What type of human beings we are? No? Maybe this will be there in everybody. But I was thinking that way. But it really helped. When I started thinking, no, I should watch my breath. I'll call mama. So everything will be all right. But as you rightly said, that amount of, torture was required for me. Maybe something in me was requiring that torture, so that once I realized, not for the whole life, but at least for some time, when I realized, I could feel the peace.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Monica. You
Yeah.
and Tharu has made lot of difference in me. I am really thanking both of you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you for
And
sharing.
every time I will be having some story of mine.
Good that we can laugh about it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. I think we don't have to fight with our state, because our ego survives by resisting. If we notice, whatever is happening.
Sorry, Monica, I couldn't hear you. Can you repeat again?
So I'm sharing that the ego survives by resisting the present moment. It's like a flow of Ganges is coming and I'm trying to build a brick wall. So if we understand that in whatever moment, it may be overwhelm of an anger, or as you said, there's turbulence is happening, you're feeling uneasy. If I become conscious of my resistance to the present moment, that, hey, I'm resisting again. So what do we mean by surrender? When we talk about surrender, as I was sharing in one of the sessions, surrender is binary. It's either there, it's not there. 0 and 1. So in one particular moment, right now, I'm either 0 or 1. There is no degree in between.
Okay.
If I am resisting the present moment, I am not surrendered.
So in this case, what do you mean?
So in this case, yeah. So I am in the plane Or for example, the first example that you shared, I get up in the morning and I said, no, I won't be thinking negative thoughts, And when the negative thoughts come, oh my God, where are they coming? Where do I hide? So I am resisting the flow of negative thoughts. The other way of the surrendered way that we can talk of is, I notice the flow of negative thoughts. They are there. They are there. I see them.
Okay.
So there is a parallel consciousness. Mother talks of this parallel consciousness. If you that something in me is watching the flow of negative thoughts. Okay, you are here. I acknowledge you. I validate you. You are here. But in this noticing, there is also a breathing space. You see this space. This space. In this space, I have a choice. So when we talk about mindfulness of breathing, I am parallelly mindful of breathing. I'm breathing. I'm in the body, keeping the mind in the body. But you parallelly see that there is an upsurge of inner movements. Thoughts are there. So even this is okay. This dualistic place is okay because you are connecting with your breath. You are bringing the mind home to the body, but there are repetitive loops of thoughts which are coming again and again. They are there. But since you are not one with the thought patterns, hence you have time to exercise choice. Okay, I see you, but it's okay. I am not ready to buy in what you promise or whatever your dictates are. So if negative thinking is there, I don't have to resist negative thinking because that is again the product of ego. Resistance is the product of ego. So whatever ugliness, for example, you suddenly become conscious of, oh my God, I'm so jealous, right? And if you can see, oh, okay, I'm jealous, I can see jealousy, then you will not be swayed away by jealousy. It will not have an overpowering impact on you that you are drowned in jealousy. So, or neither are you following the dictates of jealousy. You're not following the dictates of jealousy. You're not following what it wants you to do. But you can see it is there. It's an old pattern. Poor fellow. It has been running since ages. So why do you expect it to go right away? Right? So the moment I resist jealousy, that how come jealousy is in me? Oh my God, what do I do? Then it becomes a turmoil in me. So we don't have to make these monsters, if I can say, so real, because the more I buy into it, that yes, it is real, jealousy is real, anger is real, negative thinking is real, the more I buy into it, the more they have power over me. The more you see them as fleeting clouds, then they don't have any power over me. Now, this cannot be exercised every moment of our life, but this can be exercised at many times. It can be exercised. That you see a cloud of negative thinking arising. You see that. You become conscious of it, right? Right? You stay with the breath and you see the loops arising, wanting to call you. Like, imagine that you're going into a bazaar. And many vendors are sitting there selling chudis and whatever glittery stuff, and they are trying to call your attention. But you are saying that, oh, I have bought you into enough. I want to go straight ahead and I want to stick with my breath. I'm not going to buy into you. I know you are there. So vendors are there. The chudi seller is there. The sari seller is there. But haven't you got enough saris? Haven't you got enough chudis? How many are you going to buy again and again?
Yeah.
So this is how we get convinced that I have had it enough. I have my tummy full. And I don't have to resist the flow of negative thinking because that will create even more turmoil. You are making it more real. We have to see the true nature of these coming and going phenomena. Because negative thought doesn't stay all the time. It comes and goes, if you have noticed. It comes and goes. It comes and goes. So its true nature is emptiness. It's arising from the emptiness. It's going back into emptiness. If you are able to see the true nature, then it will not have that much grip over me, which it has right now. That, oh my God, I'm so real, I have power. That grip it will not have over you.
So now you're saying, if negative thought comes, so I should see that and I should not go into that, right?
If you are
That's what
attracted, go into it, suffer,
Okay.
and then come back. It's okay. It's win-win situation for us, so we can't really go deep into it. Somehow the way it is designed, that the more we go into negative patterns, we suffer.
Yes,
And
because
this-
it really disturbs our mind.
It disturbs. So when it disturbs, you will come back to the breath. Big deal.
Okay.
Get disturbed.
Okay.
So that's why, Mother in prayers and meditations, she presses on it again and again, that the divine victory is certain. So whether I collaborate with the divine by knowing that now it is important for me to bring the mind home and keep it home with the breath and body as long as required, this sadhana of mine, I will do this practice. This is divine collaboration. If something in me is not ready for collaboration, so it will bang the head again on the wall and it will suffer. And then it will come back. So the victory is certain. Coming back is certain, because Ravan, for example, he did so much atyachar, but he had to ultimately get nirvana through hands of Ram. Because the way it is designed is that the more we go into evil and falsehood, it cannot reach, it has to turn back to truth. It cannot give us fulfillment. That's the way it is designed. So don't worry about it at all. Even if you get disturbed and go into negative loop of thinking, go. When you will suffer, you will come back. Be sure of that.
Okay. So I'll be always scared if any negative thought comes.
Yeah, and then you become conscious of the scaredness that you feel. Oh, I am getting scared. So become conscious of anything that you are going through.
Okay.
First, you are going through negative thinking. Okay, I am conscious of the negative thinking that is there. Then you become scared of the negative thinking. So in that moment also, you can become conscious of being scared. How does it feel in the body when you are scared? Connect with your breath at even that time. Any point is a right point. So, okay, where does it feel heavy in the body when I'm scared? And that's how you meet the scare. That's how you meet the fear. In the body, we meet our emotions in the body. So you cling to the breath, you stay with the breath, and you stay with the sensation of fear in the body. Not in the thoughts, in the body. And you stay with that state as long as you feel it is required. Cling to the breath like you're holding feet of the mother. It's like clinging to the breath. I'm holding feet of the mother. I'm not leaving it. And you're meeting your fear in the body. The moment you again get lost in the thoughts of fear, bring yourself back again to the breath and the body. Go with it. Meet with the fear. The true way to meet with whatever is arising in our being is to meet it in the body. There it dissipates, it dissolves after some time. It dissolves back into space, it dissolves. But this has to be experimented. This is just theory is not enough. Once you imagine that suddenly tomorrow, negative thinking comes about ill will about yourself or somebody else, and you become scared. Oh my God, negative thinking. The moment you become scared, you become conscious. Oh, I'm scared. Let time to experiment.
Okay.
So you don't do anything that time. You stay with your breath. Feel the fear in the body. Hold it, like you hold a child, crying child, holding hands of fear. And these are appearances, just like in Savitri. Savitri meets the Lord of Death. And when she's having this frank conversation with Lord of Death, he disrobes, he drops off the mask. So this everything is a mask. So fear is also not what it appears to be. It is something else. So we have to see the true nature of fear. And if we want to see the true nature of fear, we meet it in the body. There we become friends with fear, and we know that it's not what it appears to be. Just like a naughty child. Imagine that there are people like, there is a very, say, evil kind of a child. who disturbs everyone, right? So half of the people will not go close to that child. Yes, let me stay away from that child. But if there is a really fellow who is full of love, and courage, he would go close to the child, and he would know that this child is not what he appears to be. There is something more in this child. Let me get that. So this is how our emotions, negative ones, are. They are not what they appear to be. So meet them. We have to meet them very closely. This is our chance. This human life is our chance to meet them. And I think it's beautiful if we begin to meet in the body. With the breath, we meet them. It's beautiful to see their true nature, that they dissolve back in emptiness. They don't have that much solidity as it appears to be from the mask.
Beautiful, Monica. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So Snehi is written here, ego survives by resisting the present moment. Exactly what I was thinking about yesterday. My mind is habituated to resisting. Yeah. We all are habituated to resisting. And in the moment of becoming conscious of my resistance, I'm not resisting. So even resistance is okay. It's allowed. But the moment mother talks about becoming conscious of our inner movements, right? So if I become in the moment of resisting, so I am resisting, since as you said, I'm habituated to resisting. So something is happening, I'm not liking, I'm resisting it, I'm evading it, I'm resisting it. But in that very moment, if I become conscious of resisting, oh, I'm resisting, just stay with that in the body. It transmutes, it shifts itself. So this becoming conscious is a kind of a key that we have, coming from all the masters. Kabir has said this, mother clearly states this, become conscious of your inner movements. And at any moment this can happen. In the middle of a plunge of anger, this can happen. Oh, I'm angry. Wow, I'm angry. How does it feel in the body? In that very moment, some shift can happen, some grounding can happen. So nothing is a problem. Resistance is not a problem, no negative emotion is a problem. But if we remain unconscious of all these happening, then we suffer too much. Divine victory is certain. So Sneha, divine victory is certain means what, again, coming from my understanding, is that we all are bound to walk only one way, which is the way back home, which is recognizing who we truly are, our true nature of innate goodness, kindness, compassion, oneness, humility, expanse, connectedness with each other. We all are bound to realize our true nature. Whether sooner, whether later, uh, don't know. But we are bound to realize our true nature. That's our destiny. So whether I now am convinced that I should be working within, doing my inner sadhana, knowing, getting to know who I truly am by stilling myself, keeping the mind home, or whether I at times get swayed by negative loops of thinking and bang my heads on the walls there, even then I will have to turn way within, because it will bring me suffering. Desire will bring me suffering, passions will bring me suffering, attachment will bring me suffering. So the way it is designed is that no matter wherever I hit my head, it is bound to come back to within myself. We are bound to realize ourselves. So that's what I feel it means by. There could be many ways of explaining this, but at the moment it comes to me like this, that we will realize our true nature sooner or later. We cannot continue to live as egos. That's not our destiny. So this is the problem with me. I speak. My mind is habituated to speaking. Well, pause here.
Uh, the thing that Snehi asked, the divine victory is certain. Somehow I like what comes to me, and like you said, whichever way you see it, it is just beautiful. You know how it's about, Ram and Ravana. Like I have the Ram in me, I have the Ravan in me. I have so many tendencies and patterns that I don't, I know are not for my hit, are not auspicious, are not taking me to the path, coming to the destination, maybe where I want to go from my limited thinking. So just this simple thing that it is for sure that the Ram would win. It is just like personally for me and universally, right? Like the truth has to win. The That everything can play as many games. So it just humbles you, right? Like when you're trying and you're like this, suddenly, and that's what how mother always puts it in the prayers also, that this is, but no. Yesterday, I think I, I don't know where I had shared it. There was a small talk by Thay, and in that he said that, we are all waves, right? But awareness is that while you are a wave, you're going up and down, also knowing that you're water. So I think just this thing that because there is the divine in me, right? The energy is divine because there's the divine in me. It is not possible that it would not, you know, like how they say that ek sonar ki so luha, I don't know, something like this, right? Like the end has to be in truth, the end has to be in peace. There's no other way. And lifetimes are spent. And about the thing that Captain shared, I think again, the whole session can a whole session can be done on this. And how sometimes you read something and you feel, yes, it's doable, I can try. While other times, it just feels that, oh my God, I don't know where to even begin, because speaking about these things, reading about these things makes sense mentally. And yet, what happens when you are engulfed in an emotion or a feeling? It's not mental. It's not, it just takes you over, right? Like say if there's this wind, you can say that, okay, hold a pillar and be steady, right? But if it's a hurricane, no matter what you hold, it'll take away the whole building. So that's how I think it feels that. And that's why I think, like, she talks about where Captain had what shared. It was said, aspiration first, aspire, not first, like aspiration, rejection, and then call to the divine, right? That was the three things in the beginning. So again, just a call, like everything is kind of a call, right? I aspire because I don't want it, I reject because I don't want it, you help me, and I call that help me, because being with myself, with my limited understanding, I won't be able, I mean, because the extent of the force is such that, because how it says ki just step, I don't know what the language was, but the bridge is too, I don't know, too big to be crossed by my own facilities. And Captain had asked that, how else can one do it? I think, while I was listening to everybody and the whole life that I am living, it's all just full of the I, right? This is what I like, this is what I don't like, this is what I don't care about. So I have no like, no dislike. So this, again, this, we are so close to this I. And like Monica, you so beautifully use this sentence, not that how can a mirage disappear? But how, when do I know that it's a mirage, right? I have to constantly remind myself that it's a mirage, it's a mirage, it's a dream. So I think just this, and the awareness, like again, you were sharing that so much happens, like Sardaji was saying, so much happens. I don't even come to know, like you were saying, that one has to become aware of the suffering. right? Keep doing it, keep suffering, and then you will realize, but am I even fully aware of the suffering it is causing me? So I think these are the baby steps that I take, even if I can't hold on to my fort, right? So that just becoming aware that, okay, I'm saying yes right now. And what does this yes means? Or if I'm, giving in right now, not that it's asking permission, it just takes me over, but now again I've fallen. What would this mean? And if I don't know, I'll see it this time. Maybe this time I know that the 100 times I have given in, what has that meant to me and other people? So I think that's very, this stepping away from a bit, that bit of space, like you were talking, from the I. Without that, it's not possible. It's like I'm too invested, I'm too close to see any fact as fact, because otherwise it's just stories, right? This happened to me, that happened to me. How can I've suffered so much? How can I stay mum? Just, and the thing is, like, every time, like even about suffering, it's so crazy that every time it promises me a different thing, right? Like this time he has insulted me this way, so I have to retort. This time he said that or she said that. Like every time it twists and turns. And one thing on ego about resistance, again, I would want to say that for me, lot of times it happens that if something is coming, I'm able to resist it. Like I'm not resisted, I'm able to not follow it dictates. Okay, it came once, it came twice, it came thrice. And then there's something in me that feels that I think I'm getting the hang of it. I think getting the hang of it. So the fourth time it comes, there's something in me tells me that now that you know better, do it. Now you will be able to control it. Like as in it's the victory is ego's thing, but even defeat is ego's thing, right? Like because it accepts that yes, you have won, you have got it. So just crazy how we have never ever gotten it, right? Like how surrender is not a one-time thing or a 100-time thing. It's a every minute thing, every moment thing. So all these tricks and how we are played, the more like we suffer, the more we see, the more aware we are. There's nothing that can be said more than awareness, because reading and practicality are mountains and oceans apart. Like I may hear 100 things, right? I have read 1,000 things, and yet I react, I get angry. So unless I put it into practice, these small wins, that whatever, I don't know if it's okay to even call it a win.
No, I think the problem comes with us because the mind that we have, it keeps connecting the dots. There, we fall into the trap again and again. So if I had a past victory, as you were sharing, it's the same limited mind still in operation, and it is connecting the dots again. So, so I feel, as you shared, I feel I have gotten over it, won it, and I don't even know that it's the same linear mind in operation. And as long as these stories or the connection of dots keeps on happening, we are still trapped in the same prison, which is our limited mind. So no matter if it is a spiritual story in my head, or if it is a worldly story in my head, a story is a story. And when I am in the story, I am away from reality. So even if it's a thought, with, like you said, now I have gotten it, it's a thought, now I have gotten it as a thought, but I'm not even conscious that I'm buying into it. So this is where the consciousness aspect, or being aware and mindful of our thoughts, each thought. So not, Kabir says that imagine that you have a farm, like, it's fenced. If you would not have a fence in your farm, the wild animals would come and chew your crops away. So what is this fence? This fence is the fence of mindfulness. In other words, vigilance, as Mother talks of it. That each thought, each feeling that enters, I know it is entering. Most of the time, it enters and I'm drunk. Like it just evades my consciousness. We are, as we say, we are asleep. We are unconscious. So I think this idea of, not even idea, the practice of becoming more and more aware, more and more conscious, it's a never ending practice, never ending. And the idea is that for even for a moment, if something comes in me like, hey, I've got it, then I slip. So that's why Kabir says that my house is on the top of a mountain, and it's so little a space that even an ant cannot have a stand there. So that's how vigilant we need to be. And that's why those masters who have really got it, we see that why they are so grounded, because they know that the journey is huge, that they cannot lose vigilance for even a second. Even a second vigilance lost, and the ego comes back again. Ego comes back again. And that keeps us alert. This is alertness that we require. Like we cannot afford to be drunk anymore. We have had past episodes of drunkenness, but we can't do it again and again. It brings suffering. It basically brings suffering. But if drunkenness still brings me joy, then I will be not able to refuse it. That's the point. And that's why nightmares, in when I am having a nightmare, it is easy to wake up from a dream. But when I am having a very pleasant, sweet, very romantic dream, I will not be able to get up. So it's good that pain comes and suffering comes, so that I am able to get up and know who I truly am, which is again a constant journey. Yeah.
After a good dream, I mean, if I wake up in between a good dream, I kind of curse, right? And oh, I wish I could go back, right? Like it's so,
Yeah.
again, it's just, and what you said about connecting the dots, I mean, I loved how you placed it, because I keep talking about present, right? I keep talking about awareness. Keep talking about freshness, right? That I don't have to live on my past. And yet this thing that, I think maybe I'm getting a hang of it, like how it's crossing that thing and again making that bridge, that I don't know, this remaining and being in the present or being fresh. It's so, I don't know, it's like when you said, I was like, oh my God, like I didn't see that is also. So it's just crazy. And yeah, thank you for that. So
I think it's so when we become, as mother shares, that when she was little, she would not go out for circus and entertainment because it's so entertaining where where the mind goes. And it's and yesterday I had a dream, and in the dream I was thinking too much. And in the dream, I became aware that, oh my God, the mind is so chattery. So it was a funny dream, basically. And it was like horrible that, oh my God, the mind just can't, like little children are many a times, they chatter, 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 chatter. So it's almost like that kind of a chatter going on in the mind. It's so circus, like, mother says, quite entertaining. Maybe at times not. Yeah, anyone? Any reflection? Otherwise, we can just.
Swami Vivekananda, he went to Chicago in 1893, and in that conference, first sentence he spoke addressing the sisters and brothers of America, because the place was at America, so he says America, but actually it's for the whole world. The sisters and brothers, that means there's only one family. We are talking about the inclusiveness, like you had been saying, that you have to come home. Who is there? Mother will be there. Who else will be there? Mother is there, definitely. Every one of us got a mother. So Ramakrishna Paramahansa used to like his songs. Actually, he used to sing. Vivekananda used to sing every time. He has met 8 times. We can find the record that 8 places he has requested him to sing. Mon chalo nijo niketane in Bengali. Mon means mind. Chalo means let us go. Nijo niketane means own home. Let us mind. Let us go. Let us go to our own home. So, in the sense that all this ego and all, that my mind is always running like mad elephant everywhere, like mother says. And now we're saying that no, enough is enough. Now you come back. This is the time for, the kite was flying for such a long time. Now we have to probably, pull it back, rewind, or winding the thread which was so loose. And in that itself is there that whatever you want to search now, you search within yourself, in my body, in me only. Everything is there. The whole world is there. Everything is there. Whether it is entertainment, whether it is chattering, or each and everything is available in us. So I used to sing that song. There's about 8 or 10 lines this song. And second thing which was coming to my mind is the Ramakrishna Paramahansa says that mother, my mother is there. Now, how can mother deny that I am her son? Means, or daughter, whatever maybe, means hak se mango. That yes, my mother, you have to give, there's no choice because you're my mother. So that's actually, he's hinting at the total surrender, and the mother cannot leave alone. So like we say that this is the blessings or the divine grace or whatever we call it. So mother is there. Mother will definitely be graceful, and other than grace, she may not be having another best quality. This grace is always there for us, but only thing that we have to move in that path, and we have to depend on mother for any situation, trial, tribulations, pain, sufferings, and what not comes on the way. Whether it is rainy season, whether it is cold, or it is summer, or whatever may be the situation in the mind or calamity of life. So I have to we have full faith and confidence that my mother is there. My mother will take me along. Like that kitten, that cat and kitten. Only mom, mother. So these are thoughts which are coming whenever
Yeah.
we and explaining the things. Thank you.
I think why the path is so arduous and long as it is for all of us, it takes many lifetimes, because things are so glittery. They're so attractive, so juicy, and somehow a child who is, say, as you were sharing, bonded to the mother, slowly he begins to explore life, and things are so juicy that everything attracts the child. Now, the mother, comfort of the mother is okay. He has had that for a long time. But oh my God, and that's because of the senses that we have, things become so juicy, so attractive. And it's not before I have fallen in for all those things that are attractive that I begin the journey back home. So, falling in for the things, I believe that's what our journey has been for most of us, almost everyone, that we keep on falling in for things. Uh, and that's where and we lose our home, for example, on the way, if we can say. We really lose ourselves, that who am I, and why am I not feeling easy, why am I feeling so uneasy all the time. And then slowly our journey back home can begin. And one thing which comes to me here is to see the nature of things. I think there also we have one of the tools which is available, coming from either quantum physics or realizing how things truly are, that things are not what they appear to be. What appears so solid, so juicy, it actually is just an appearance. And that is why I will never ever be able to grasp it. Never ever. Isn't it amazing that no matter whatever we have wanted and we have got, it has never been able to give us lasting satisfaction, because their nature is empty, because they are not as solid as they appear to be. But that's what I was sharing, that I feel that if not for our journeys of falling innumerable times, we will not get convinced. And that's why These, for example, this couplet also, which I share again and again, daudat daudat daudiya, you ran. So running is important. And mother also shares that importance of innumerable experiences in prayers and meditations, that before that we don't want to realize. Who wants to realize? I want to experience, so I want to have that experience. I want to have that experience. I want to fall in love. Okay, fall in love. See, I want to have children. Okay, have children. So all these experiences are his steps on the way. So we cannot either negate these experiences, because these experiences have their proper place. Because, so for example, I remember, one friend of mine who I felt that she was very mature, very ripe, and she could help a lot of people. But in her own individuality, she wanted to get married, and have a little family and buy stuff from here and there. She had her own dreams, what she wanted to do. Now, after years, she has gotten married and done all that she wanted. Now she's convinced. So earlier she was not ready to get convinced that, she still had hope from that particular situation of marriage, or, having a home or a family, that it will bring me lasting satisfaction or happiness. So if not for falling in for that particular thing that I desired for, I would not get convinced that that is not bringing me lasting satisfaction. So that is why trying everything out, not everything, at least, that for that we really feel desirous, and banging our head on the wall, bleeding, I think it's part of the journey. It's important, because that's what makes me convinced. And one thing which was coming to me, I think, when you were sharing earlier, that disenchantment, that I'm so enchanted by the material world because of my senses. I'm so enchanted that I'm not ready to drop the surface living. So when I have ran enough, I have suffered enough through my senses, I know they don't give me lasting satisfaction, a kind of a disenchantment comes, that that the worldly pleasures and whatever, it cannot bring you lasting satisfaction. Now you know. So now it is easier to walk on the path. Challenges will still be there, I guess, And again, I may get, again, enchantment can happen. This can happen anytime. I may think that I am disenchanted, but enchantment can happen anytime, So I don't have to think that I am disenchanted. It's like a happening that I've seen, tasted this, tasted that, and I know that I cannot get it from anywhere. So I turn within. Now I feel that this turning within, by truly getting disenchanted, is a very powerful turning within. Although it feels like disappointment in the beginning, but it's a good disappointment. And I think then when we begin to live within, and do not base anything in material world as my ground. Now, no person is my ground, no relationship is my ground, but I'm here and I can offer myself to others. This I can do. So I know lasting happiness not going to come from here, and I'm not demanding it now, because I know that it would not come. But I am here, I still am alive. So now we can offer ourselves to the world, and not want and demand from the world. So Snehi has shared something here. Does that mean soulmates don't exist in the context of romantic relationships? What if we genuinely have an emotional connection with someone and want to build a life and home with that person? No, I think by all means, we would do that. We would not be able to stop it. But what we were talking of here is that if a relationship becomes a dependency, that I cannot be happy if not for you. That's what our relationships usually become. It's like we get sticky to each other. Because we are living from a sticky mind, we stick to each other. So in that, what happens, very soon it becomes a very attached relationship. Like If not, so I want to have control over the movements of the other person, where he's going, where he's meeting, who is having connection with. So this attachment, when it comes to picture, that has been called as one of the poisons. So attachment, ignorance, and anger they are the poisons which spoil our life. And even then we will suffer and we will get back home. So as we were sharing, divine victory is certain. But mother also shares about human love, that usually it becomes dependency on each other, and we stick to each other. And although we were having a good time, and the good time just happened, as a matter of fact, the person just happened to you, but now I want only that person to make me happy. And when that person is not around, or when the person is not behaving according to my wants and desires, then I am unhappy. So this is, and then we have to purify our love. That again can be a different sadhana. Purify our attachment, and turn it into love. And even that is okay. I mean, we can start any time. I think soulmate is a very interesting word. One thing which comes to me is that we are all soulmates. When you were shared this, and we are helping each other grow. Even if it's a difficult person in my life, he is my soulmate because he is helping me grow. And the idea of human existence is not to settle down and have a family, but to grow in consciousness. This is what comes from Mother and Sri Aurobindo's also. That why are we here? We are here to grow and evolve. We are here from a man to become a life divine. So if that is happening through a person, through a relationship, wouldn't that be a soulmate? That is your soulmate, because although he may be difficult, she may be difficult, but he's helping you to grow. So we have a contract together in that sense. Okay, said that enough. Open up, everyone. You can unmute yourself.
Thank you, Madhya. So, this soulmate thing, I also find it very funny and cute because, the way we start with stars in our eyes about, our concepts of soulmate, and we always have just one soulmate, how the Bollywood, Hollywood has shaped us into this. But if you just look at the word, right, we all have souls. And we know that, we are drops and there is this ocean and, Atma, Paramatma. I think everybody at least knows this in theory. So like you said, everybody is a soulmate, right? Like this, Rumi's quote that we are all just walking each other home. So if we just, but that feels nice, right? Just one person for me, And after spending, 20 years with that one person, you realize that, oh my God, what was I thinking, for example. And I remember, once I had gone for some kind of therapy, some session and all, and there was some probably astral travel involved. I don't want to get into details, it sounds funny. But I met people there, like, I don't know, imagination or whatever. And there, the person say who I found one of the hardest to be with. That person was like, he was just smiling and he said, see what you're making me do. Kind of that this is what you want in this thing, and I have to play that part. And it was so beautiful that, right, see what you're making me do. And it was just, we just laughed at it. So again, this thing about how can illusion, I don't know, what did you say? How can mirages be real, kind of a thing? It's just have to keep reminding ourselves. And you were talking about experience, right? Like in the beginning, that we have to have experiences, we must have experiences. Still, we have some, we feel they'll give us something. I think the only thing that we lack, and I think one thing that if we can incorporate that in our, I don't know, wherever life, is that being awake during that experience. And I think the problem that the reason, again from my limited mind, that it takes so long is like you were saying, we are drunk. Like I have had the same, I don't know, we have had the same experience again and again and again and again. And when it hits us, I don't know, the 132nd time, then I wonder, कि ये हो क्या रहा है, right? Like there are people, you know, like who have so many, say, boyfriends, for example, right? And they'll be like, you know, can't get it from there, can't get it from new. But we are not seeing that there's one thread common in all those 12 boyfriends. That's me. And that is someplace I haven't ever looked at, right? Like, what is this? What is happening? And it just, if we could just be like, have as many experiences as you deem fit, but if you can just try to be a bit more present, okay, this is what, you know, kind of that analysis, or just analysis, I don't think is the right word.
Essence of that experience, basically.
हाँ, मतलब हुआ क्या
Crux of it,
है ना,
yes.
मतलब कि ये मैंने करा, this is what I wanted. So what is the moral of what was it that I thought I will get? What did I get? You know, 2 months, 6 months, 12 months. But इसके लिए I'll have to spend some time with myself, which I don't have because I have such a fast life. So if we can just take out that time, it just, I think, would change. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, Taru, this I don't know. इतना कुछ बोल के भी, like इतना कुछ जान के भी, you're like, I don't know. So that's true. You know, that's what I feel. I think more you know, and you know, उसके बाद ये I don't know. I think to get comfortable with that I don't know kind of brings freshness to the moment, right? I think going to moment to moment. But then I think the key word is that vigilance, that awareness. I mean, you guys already talked about it. So nice.
So Snehi has written, my friends, people my age are all getting married one by one. Therefore, this question. Yeah, I think things do influence us, and we are influenced and conditioned by what is happening around us. So if, you know, as we were sharing, that the divine victory is certain. So whether you decide that I have a different call and I don't want to get married, or you get married, you can be sure that your growth of consciousness cannot be stopped. You will be growing the way you are. You will be growing in consciousness. It doesn't matter whether you get married. So that's what mother says. You know, mother says outer situations don't matter that much. So if we can not depend on outer situations that much, whether you get married or not get married, even marriage can become a growth of consciousness if the person takes it in the right spirit. Or even if people we know, you know, we know people who are not getting married, they're living alone, but there is hardly any growth of consciousness. So what matters is growth of consciousness. Married, getting married, not getting married, having troubles in marriage, it does not matter at all. Let it be cruel. Let life be cruel. What matters is growth of consciousness. And then you are okay with everything. You know, then even if you are getting married, okay, what matters? Growth of consciousness. I'm okay. Okay, I'm single. What matters? Growth of consciousness. So if we have this, you know, this one kind of a flame, inner flame with us, if we can remind us of ourselves that my purpose of human existence is growth of consciousness, then it does not matter what the outer situation is. In Alipur jail, Sri Aurobindo has the darshan. How does it matter? But in the jail, I can become miserable also. So the same jail, it's not that every jail brings growth of consciousness for every person. How the person is inwardly. So all that matters is our inner attitude, as you were sharing in the beginning, the aspiration that you have. And as Saru was sharing, becoming aware of my experience. So if you are aware of your experience, if you're learning through your experiences, it would not matter marriage, no marriage, romantic relationship, no relationship. It would not matter at all, because stagnancy can happen anywhere. Inertia can pull you down anywhere, even in marriage or not marriage, or growth can happen also anywhere. And mother warns us against inertia. That's the lowest state of consciousness. So allow the life to be cruel, because it will help us grow. That's why Sri Aurobindo talks about Aryan spirit, warrior spirit. That I know life is hard, it's challenging, but I have my lessons to learn and I will learn them, no matter this way or that way. I don't want an easy life. A warrior would not want an easy life. He would fight for the right cause. So, yeah, I feel that let it be cruel. And if then I am able to get the essence out of each experience, then I would not mind the cruelty. I think why we mind the cruelty is because we are not able to get the essence out of each experience. As Kabir would say, साधु ऐसा चाहिए जैसा सूप सुभाए, सार सार को गही लहे, थोथा दे उड़ाए. So I want such a sadhak on the path who gets the essence and crux of whatever is happening and let go of the lighter material. Like, I don't focus on the outward happenings. Okay, I got so much through that experience. What, you can be now grateful about it, even if it's a tragic experience. But if I'm not able to get the crux out of that tragic experience, then I will be complaining. So we don't mind pain and challenges in that sense. Yeah, Jasmine, you wanted to share?
I think you covered it. I think just personally sharing where my challenge comes is, I think to some extent I can take a lot of pain myself. It's just seeing others around you in pain. That's my challenge. I don't know, but usme bhi kuch essence, maybe I need to see that in a fresh perspective too. I mean, that's kind of like I'm not being able to take others' pain. That's like my pain too, technically, but but I think this is something I've been, maybe that has surfaced for me more, like how Karu said, 132nd time.
Which
same
one is
thing.
you? No, this one.
So what you said, I was trying to see, like
Oh,
maybe I need
yeah.
to see things.
I thought,
I think
Oh,
I
yeah.
totally resonate with what you said, Jasmine. But you see, like I was also, I mean, I've experienced this a lot and I still do, not knowing what to do to, I don't know, like when you see others in pain or thinking that my action is causing pain to others. And lately I have realized that how arrogant that is. My pain, I will take it, but others, so that means I don't have faith that they are being taken care of. I don't have faith that they can also rise up to their pains and, have the courage to fight their own battles. But I feel I am there to cushion their blows, and my presence is needed for their life to run in an optimal or a better, slightly better or a less painful way. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not fully, I don't think, cross the thing, but I see that there is a lot of arrogance in me in saying this statement or feeling that. Sorry, please go on.
No, what you're saying exactly. That's what I was saying. Like I was trying to see it in fresh perspective. And I saw that in that moment, again, because I think maybe it's a habitual pattern or a thing in me, but I saw the shift while that thing was happening, like the other party is in pain. And again, my, out of my like usually habitual reaction that I want to save that person or say something. My first thing is I'm still at like just silencing myself and looking at myself. Haven't gone further there. But like I think that's something I have to like sort of practice and see where it takes me. But that's true. That's what I see my own arrogance to see that I need to take care. What my recent experience has been, I'm seeing like I'm actually seeing somewhat grace that everybody kind of knows they're struggling, but I now see that they kind of know too what you're saying about arrogance too. And I see my own ego, the different forms of I that comes, right? Like I was saying, कि है तो वो मेरी pain ही मैं कह रही हूँ कि I can take my pain, but I'm making it my pain too, right? Even though I'm saying it's their pain, but it's for my pain. But yeah, I think if you can shed more light, I'm just trying to skip over my work, I guess.
Yeah.
I think it's just one more comment in Monica, whatever you would want to share on this. Like, either I can get lost in these stories that I am, not able to see what should I do, what can I behave differently so that they are less painful, or there are things that I can actually do, right? That would make a difference, like the practice of Tonglen. Now that when I feel pain, instead of thinking that I am causing it or my actions would cause it, I practice that. Or praying, right? Like, okay, okay, say, Mother, you have given me so much faith that I can even have the courage to have this thought. So please give them this courage too, give them this faith too. So, it's like either giving somebody a fish or teaching them to fish for themselves. I think that's I see, for me, that was what came out. Yeah.
So you stole my words, but I will still speak. I think this is so beautiful, and mind is, we are so used to having complicated MBA, HR, and PhD degrees that if it is simple, we don't get it. If it's complicated, हाँ हाँ बताओ बताओ जरा क्या करना है कितने steps है
So true.
बेचारा कबीर. So anyway, कबीर को बताना कि हम बहुत बात करते हैं उसके बारे में. Kabir, Kabir, chanting all the time. So anyway, so what I was sharing is that this practice, what Taru shared, in any moment that I become aware of either my suffering or others' suffering, how simple it can be that it doesn't need anything. No outer tool is required to inhale other person's suffering or inhale my own suffering. I now know that how people suffer when they are pained by someone other and they are not able to help. Now I know. So connecting with my right now, whatever my experience is. So there is the person in pain. Here am I thinking that maybe I'm responsible, but I am in pain. So how pained I feel when I am not able to help or maybe causing more pain. So connecting with my experience, I don't have to connect with their experience in this moment, when I'm practicing Tonglen, although that can also be done. So I connect with all the people like me who are suffering because they can't help anyone in pain. Now I understand their pain. So our pain in any moment can become a connecting link to the vast humanity that is there. In that very moment, now I inhale, with the inhaling breath, I inhale all that suffering that people go through when they feel so helpless. And I exhale simplicity of the present moment, or simple joy and peace for them. May they be able to have the joy of present moment. How beautiful that is. It causes a shift in the inner consciousness in 1 second. 1 second. How simple. And first of all, it also, usually we are so separatist, like how can I take others suffering and let them have whatever they are doing. So it also expands us. It breaks our barriers. Very simple. We can do it anytime. Anytime we become conscious of anything going inside me, I do Tonglen. So how people suffer when they are attending calls with their children. Now I understand their pain. Or the joy. Even joy can be shared actually. Just like whenever we connect, or we are able to talk about good words, we feel joy. We feel joy and we feel a comfort that, oh, I can talk about these things with someone. So the moment I become conscious of that joy, may this joy be shared with all. May everyone have this joy of getting comforted in each other's company, or having good conversations or whatever. So anything that I become conscious of, I can share. So this expands us. We share it around. Yeah. सुला दो इसको, नींद आ रही है क्या, या सुबह हुई हो अभी तो शायद, है ना?
No, it's morning time. So,
Yeah.
This Tonglen, especially if you feel like, somebody specific also, that, for the pain thing, one is, of course, the universal angle. But even if you have somebody specific, one or two people that you're worried about or thinking, if you direct it to them, then also you feel instantly that that person is going through pain, and I take in the pain and I give them peace, like whatever we want.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it can be done one to one.
Yeah, absolutely. I was sharing that other day, regarding Tonglen, that to the extent it can go is written in Buddhist literature that when people would do Tonglen, they would actually, when they will begin to have blisters on their skin,
Wow.
then they would know that, wow, I'm grateful that it is working. Now their pain and suffering is coming to me. So this also let us go of this, as you were sharing, sticking to me, I should be protected. So you are ready, eat me up, take happiness from me, take joy, eat me up. So I think this is so beautiful to take care of the ego, because the ego always wants to be protected and safe. That's how we have these life insurance policies, and my home should be the best one, and we fall in for that throughout our lives. So it's a very, very simple, practical, efficient tool to take care of the ego, moment by moment. And even if, for example, I'm getting tormented, as Sharda ji was sharing, I'm getting tormented by my thoughts or negative thinking. So in that moment, if I become conscious, oh, this is how it feels when one is getting tormented by the thoughts. Now I understand, what people go through. So I do Tonglen. I inhale their disturbance and unease, and I wish them ease and simplicity. And in that, you also become simple in that shift. You're not suffering anymore. Okay, so I'm done. My fuel is over. Or maybe not. 1 घंटा और बैठ सकते हैं.
There's just 2 lines I had read. I mean, there's a lot more, but very related to what we were sharing in the beginning about what to do. But I mean, just so here it says, like, topic is nor anger. He who is a friend of wisdom must not be violent. I mean, the violence can mean anything, like we were talking about, the consciousness and how. And the second one was, when we act with obstinacy, malice, anger, violence, to whom do we make ourselves near and like? To wild beasts. It's like I have to choose who I want to. Again, that Ram and Ravan analogy. I mean, there's a lot more, but I don't know the why. And it's obvious, right? We don't need to know this.
No, but I think it's good to have reminders, because we forget. So good to read this again and again. होता क्या है कि it's not that I may overcome anger, but in the middle of anger, these verses will come to me. That what am I doing? That this happened with me actually. So in a moment of anger, when I became really angry, and very soon afterwards, I've done whatever damage I had to do. But afterwards, it just came to me the verse of 8 verses on training of the mind. That, oh my God, why did I forget? Why was I not able to take the blame? So I thought that even if it comes afterwards, at least it came, it came to me. The verse came to me that I could have chosen a better, possibility, taken the higher possibility. But again, as mother says, we don't have to go into guilt and shame. And that's even a darker trap. So as she says, that whenever you see a mistake has happened, error has happened, understand, take your learning, dust off your pants and move on. So I think that shamelessness, if I can use that word, is very important, because guilt, shame is again a trap of the ego. We think that we are not ego when we are in guilt and shame, but we are still egos when we are too much, because it's still me, and I did wrong and I did that. So taking the lesson and just moving forward, that I could have done better, and maybe the next time it happens, I would be even more conscious. Yeah, so thank you for sharing those. Yeah, good to have more reminders.
And again, what you spoke about connecting the dots. Like if I'm not being kind of feeling shame, like you said, shamelessly do it, but that's actually then dropping that line, right? Like not connecting the dots. You can call it shamelessness, or one can call it being kind, right? That it's yeah. So we are almost at 8:30. This, Snehi was talking about how others are getting married. I just wanted to share a little bit on this, that we have this life, and lot of times, I would say, I don't know, maybe 9 out of 10 decisions that we make are because others are making them, right? So like you very correctly, of course, said that learning is everywhere if I want to learn. And yet I feel that if I do what I want to do, or at least I think I want to do, and not get influenced by what others are doing, I don't know, at the end of the day, even if I've suffered a lot, I've had this thing that, okay, now I know. But I feel that if I've done something because I was expected to do it or others were doing it, I waste a lot of time. And why did I hear them? Why did I listen to them? Why couldn't I see what was so obvious? So I think just not seeing things superficially. Like, it's like, I remember once Acharya Prashant, he had shared an example that there was this couple and his son was getting, like, I don't know, he was 30, 31, and they wanted to get him married. And, he just refused. And one day they sat him down and said, "What's your problem?" And he said that when I look at you both, like he said that to his parents, that how do you expect me to get married, because I see what hell you create for each other. And I think that would be true for almost everyone living regular lives. And yet, when we think about getting a daughter married or a son married, we don't see things in totality, right? We just know that, okay, marriage is the next step, and now you get married. It's a gamble. You might, win, you might lose, whatever, but that's not my problem. And it is, I'll make sure you get into a good house, but yeah, baki, it's your kismat. If you look at how these things are working, they make no sense. Okay, I get married because 10 people are getting married. Okay, let me speak to those 10 people, like give them at least a year, maybe, or speak to the people who have been married 10 years, 15 years. Actual talk, not just very superficial, okay, yes, bahut maza hai, and get the feedback, and then you see what you want to do. Because superficiality and reality, especially with social media, it's very, very, very hard, easy to get influenced and just feel that, oh, wow, let me just have a man by my side, or, a babe by my side. But that's not how you feel. Sri Ravi Shankar says this a lot, that, first it's like, I can't live without you. And very soon it becomes that I can't live because of you, or, with you. And everybody kind of sees that shift. So that this enchantment, that word that you use, I think it's really important, and it's not given as much importance in our lives, in our growing up, as it should be. And it, like you said, it might sound that it's a sad thing getting this enchanted, but I think it's really, like, I've had moments in which, I've really wanted something and I wasn't getting it. And there was a voice telling me that it's so good, you're sad right now, but just look at the big picture. This is great that you're not getting it. It didn't feel very kind at that time, and yet that held, that I know this is for the good, that this enchantment with these things, it helps you again in being less with the story, right? Like, okay, it is there, I'm wanting it, I'm going for it, and I'm ready. I know this will happen, and yet I want to face it. So, okay.
Yeah. One thing which I got reminded of when you were sharing, Tenzing Palmo has shared that somehow we are not convinced that this world cannot give me happiness, this world of impermanence. So she was sharing that For other people, they may lose their loved ones, but I will never lose. So we are not convinced. Other people, their marriages may fail, but I will have a successful one. So the basic idea, where you ended, disenchantment. So basically, if I get convinced slowly through my experiences that nothing fleeting can become my ground, there is no ground. Being okay with the groundlessness. I think then, as you said, that even then I will either go for it, not go for it, doesn't matter. But knowing that nothing ever in this world of fleeting phenomena can be my ground. It's a person, relationship, work, money, whatever can be touched, felt with senses, whatever is changing can never be my ground, because as you said, the very thing that brought me happiness will very soon turn into pain, because things are changing. If I am convinced, and hence I do not make anything my ground for my stability, that although I'm having relationships, but my inner stability is my own. I know that they will change. Yes, I will be swayed superficially, but I know that they are bound to change. So if we know, again, this word disenchanted, or being okay with the groundlessness, then it's okay to go through whatever experience one has, in course of one's evolution, one has to go through. I think Pema Chodron talks a lot about being okay with the groundlessness. And it's very liberating. It's very liberating. As you said, in the beginning, it may sound disappointing, but it's so liberating. Wow, I cannot make anything my ground. How liberating. So you are not bonded to anything now. You are still in relationships, but you're not bonded to them. How liberating. So that we are not, like, we take a step back from this misery, the cycle of misery, and we become miserable from time to time because we become unconscious and we make something or the other our ground. अरे ये तो टिकेगा, अरे नहीं वो नहीं टिका, ये तो टिकेगा. And very soon we realize, अच्छा ये भी नहीं टिकेगा. जो है वो टिक नहीं सकता. जो सेंसेस से परसीव करते हैं वो टिक नहीं सकता कभी भी, if we are convinced, because its nature is empty. Because the true nature is empty. There's nothing there. Like, it's not as solid as it appears to be. So that's why we were talking earlier of the promises it gives me. These are false promises. The promises of fulfillment, the promises of I will give you ground, how they show in Bollywood movies, it's so really, it damages our brain, what they show in the movies, that hence they live happily ever after. But you haven't seen the sequel. If we have the sequel, it gets really ugly. Yeah.
So if there are any, last comments, anything, we can end the session. And Monica, what you said, just to put it in a quote, which is, I think, very popular Buddhist post, that it's not the desires that bring us suffering, it's the clinging to the desires, right? That we can want anything. Again, going back to what, Snehi was saying, it's all right. But it's like, I want something, this is what I want. This should be the size, this round, this heavy. Oh my God, mine is not like this. And then I suffer, right? My ideas, my pictures, my images. So just the clinging part is the issue. And yeah, so
this is so beautiful, clingy part. Just last line, Mother says that our journey is from clinginess to non-clinginess. Journey is from desire soul to the true soul. That's our journey. So how beautiful that now at least I'm able to see my clinginess, so that the path can be traveled.
So I think this is it. So thank you for joining us this Friday, and hope to see you guys next week. Okay, bye.
Thanks everyone.